Hello, warm welcome to our international seminar, BRAWO Systems and Picote. We are really happy to have you with us online today. My name is Gunther Kaltenhäuser. I'm the business manager of BRAWO Systems. And I would like to just do a short introduction, kind of warm up, if you will so. So why trenchless and why BRAWO Systems and Picote together? So let's start with the second question, why BRAWO Systems and Picote together? Well, we have a partnership for over 15 years now, and our product portfolio suits perfectly well. Picote, they have mainly the products for the preparation work and the after work, and BRAWO Systems, we have the products for the rehabilitation, the repair of the pipes and laterals in houses and on domestic grounds. And there as well, we suit perfectly together because also Picote does their main business when it comes to repair and rehabilitation of in-house pipes, in-house sewers and domestic sewer systems, lateral connections and ground sewers. So this is the connection of the two companies, and we are really, really happy to have you here with us and to do our first international webinar. And we will have a big part of practical issues, presentation of preparation methods and rehabilitation methods, of course. And we have right after me another colleague from Picote with us, Jonas, in Finland now, and he will present a project, a big project, how to approach the pipe rehabilitation in houses and on domestic grounds. So I will come back now to the first question, why trenchless? Well, I think most of you have the background why trenchless technologies are so successful, mainly because you have a really, really short preparation time. You're really fast when it comes to the rehabilitation. This is, from our point of view, the main issue, the main aspect, time. So way faster than open cut or digging methods. And this is one of the most important issues. Of course, you have a reduction of dirt during the work in comparison to the other open cut and digging methods. And the sound issues as well are much more comfortable for inhabitants, for example, house owners. And these are, let's say, the main issues. Nowadays, also sustainability is very important. So we have less impact on the environment with our technologies. And these are the main aspects. So another time, we are really, really happy to have you with us. And we want to go now into the deep dive theoretical part, how to approach a big project, how to handle a big project, what's the best way to do it. And afterwards, we have the most important part today, the practical part. Right now, I would like to give you the hint that you can give us your questions in the chat. So if necessary, just use the chat for your questions. And if you want to, use the chat for your questions. And we will answer the questions during the webinar. If you have any questions after the webinar, just come back to Picote or to us. We are always happy to help you. So, and now it's time to switch from Kaiserslautern, Germany, to Finland and to welcome Jonas from Picote. Good to have you with us, and I would like Jonas, just go on with the presentation of your project.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gunther, for the preparation. And welcome, everyone. Good morning from Finland. Summer seems to be over, so we're pretty cloudy here, but at least we have inside house projects to work with. So today we're going to go through a project, in-house CIPP lining project, how it was prepared, how it usually goes in Finland, what type of benefits and what type of things you actually need to really take into consideration when working in-house buildings. So Gunther gave a quick presentation, and I'm the production director in the Finnish side of Picote. doing the contracting with CIPP. Let's see if this works. Yes. All right. So as Günther said, we've been working with BRAWO for over 15 years now, mostly inside buildings. We're using BRAWOLINER for everything. Every installation, we install approximately 20 kilometers of liner, BRAWOLINER each year. Over 2,000 completed CIPP line projects have been made using BRAWOLINER and Picote tools. So since 2008. So we've been doing this quite some time together. We currently have about 30 employees working in the field. Our work sites can be basically divided into two. So proactive projects and reactive projects. Reactive projects, as in housing association or whatever building notices there's a leak that needs to be prepared and repaired immediately. So CCTV inspections, descaling, removing clogs, patch repairing, etc., usually including 1 to 2 technicians. But the biggest part of our business in Finland is, of course, the proactive projects. So as we know, pipes generally have about 50 years of lifespan. It can vary depending on the pipe material, the age, where it's located, etc. But in general, let's say 50 years is pretty good estimation for the lifespan of sewers. So we can start usually when the building is starting to get near that age, we start preparing that the pipes need to be repaired. Of course, we can do it the traditional way. So tear down walls, floors, and so on, which will, as Günther said previously, that will involve a lot of noise, a lot of dust. It's going to take longer and have a much more bigger impact on the environment, actually. But CIPP lining has proved to be a really good way to actually restore the pipes to its original use. So we can use CIPP lining in apartment buildings, commercial buildings, industrial buildings, basically every single building, or outside the buildings, of course, which have sewers. Oh, sorry, I skipped one. So as in proactive projects go, reactive is pretty straightforward. We have a leak, we go there, inspect where's the problem, and then fix it with lining. But proactive projects are, of course, they need a lot more of preparation and planning beforehand. So usually, actually, engineering companies are doing the first initial planning for the jobs. What kind of requirements there is, what needs to be repaired? Is it just sewer pipes? Is it rainwater pipes, floor drains? What else is needed to repair at the same time? So they do the initial planning for the project. And of course, then after, they're going to do the bidding process as well. So contractors, during the bidding process, will go into the building, visually inspect general areas. If we have pre-existing plans, pipe schematics, we can look at those and check that the site is actually looking as planned before. And then when the actual project starts, we usually we like to have our own dedicated project manager per job site. So we have one person in charge of all the workflow, all the residential information, everything. And so here we can see kind of the bidding process. So we start from preliminary on-site visit, as taught before. We check that pre-existing pipes are where they should be. Then we, of course, do a project estimation for the pricing, how the amount of pipes, amount of installations, and of course the needed workforce. And some kind of preliminary work timetable has to be made at the same time. Then if we, of course, win the bid, we'll go into more detailed project planning side. So we're going to do a thorough on-site visit, actually check that the pipes are there still. If we don't have any pre-existing plans, as-built plans from the pipe schematics, we will do CCTV. But usually we're lucky in Finland that we have a lot of pre-existing plans already accessible. But CCTV, of course, has to be done if there's no additional information. Then we're going to do a preliminary worksite layout planning. So where are we going to have our workstations, our storages? Do we need, for example, can we have spaces from the building itself, or do we have to take containers, for example, for storage? And of course, the detailed timetable. So we're going to do per stack timetable, and each apartment connecting to the stack will have a day-to-day plan already. And then when we have everything planned, we'll have a residential info session. So we invite every resident apartment owner to come to a session where we will go through the whole project, when each apartment is under renovation, how does the work affect the residents, what are the temporary toilets, showers, etc. So they will get detailed information beforehand. When is it happening? What is happening? And how is it happening? And then, of course, the project will start with worksite preparations, usually a week before the actual work in apartments. We'll do some protective covering, on-site storage building, and basically the whole worksite infrastructure is built. So in this case, we have a project in Helsinki, Pohjois-Kaaren Ranta. This finished during summer this year. So we have 2 buildings, 4 staircases in total, and 4 apartment floors on top of basement. The total amount of apartments was 31, and stacks, wastewater stacks was 19. The house was built in 91. They had under the building, they had plastic pipes which weren't in need of renovation, but all the stacks, apartment pipes were cast iron, and they were starting to have problems with them. So that was our project focus. So we started doing the preparation work, protective covering in the basement, common areas like corridors. We set up a working station and an on-site storage. Of course, we also had to have access to stacks. So we located all the stacks and then did a little tear down work to get access to the pipes. Then in staircases, we usually cover all the staircases, of course, and then run electricity line from the house main. And of course, we install a big air compressor in the basement and then run a pressure air line all the way up to the top floor. And how does the project timetable look like? So in this case, we had a timetable for 1 to 2 weeks per stack. So each apartment connecting to a stack. It varied because there was different type of stacks. Some stacks only had kitchen lines. Some had bathrooms, toilets, and kitchens. So the whole project was estimated in that sense. The total project time was 9 weeks, so 19 stacks, and the total time was 9 weeks. So we were doing 2 to 4 stacks at a time, basically constantly. And we had a project manager on site, plus 3 to 4 installers, depending, of course, the amount of work underway. So how does the work in apartments look like? So first off, day 1 would be to remove all the fixtures, as in toilets, sinks, whatever traps there is in apartments, and then placing protective covering on them. Next day would be cleaning, descaling, and of course CCTVing at the same time. So in this case, we had cast iron pipes, so we used our Miller products as the power, and then had Picote change and smart cutters to remove all the excess scale. After everything is cleaned, then we take recording of CCTV to check that, and of course measure all the pipes. Measure the pipes, check the diameters for the upcoming lining. Day 2 or 3 would be after the cleaning process to install the stack. So we had 4 floors on top of basement. In this case, we installed the stack all the way from the roof to basement. And all the stacks, I believe, were DN100. So we used BRAWO DN100 liner with BRAWO 1 resin and let it cure ambiently. The remaining lining days, of course, then we have to reinstate. We use our smart cutters to reinstate the connections. Then we install our sealed connection collars into the connections. And then drain by drain or pipe by pipe, we installed all the floor drains, toilets, and sinks, depending on how they connected to each other. And that took from 4 to 8 days, depending on the amount of pipes. Of course, when everything is installed, then we're going to do the final inspection. So we inspect, of course, clean everything after the work, and then take final inspection how the pipe work looks like. So at the end of the project, we have a recording of the pipes when they are cleaned and after they have been lined. And as you can see there, these are some example photos from the existing pipes. And of course, after, let's go back here, after, of course, all the pipes have been recorded, we will do the cleaning in the apartments, place back toilet seats, traps, etc. So in this case, we use all the way from DN50 to DN100 BRAWOLINER liners. We use BRAWO 1 and RR, depending on the use case. For example, the connection collars can be optimal to use a faster resin, so we can install more at a daytime, but most of the work was using ambient curing. And so now how it affects the residents. This is a really important fact, to keep the residents informed before the project starts, and of course all the way throughout the project. I think this is one of the most important things in these in-house projects, especially in apartment buildings. The more that people know, the more detailed the plan is, the better the project will go overall. For the contractor and of course for the resident as well. So everything, while the work was done, the residents had access to the toilets and showers which were in the basement. But if we have a building on work which doesn't have any basement facilities, we can of course use separate containers, shower containers, toilet containers to the yard, so they have access to those. We also gave every single apartment these temporary dry toilets, so they had running water. Of course, they couldn't place it in straight into the drains. They had to use like a bucket in a kitchen sink or something else. But they had running water. They had their dry toilets in the apartments, so shower was the only thing they need to go to the basement to use. And most of the actual residents lived throughout the work. One of the benefits, of course, using CIPP lining instead of traditional tear down, repair, or replace method is the time. So the luckiest people here had all their pipes renovated already in a week. In some cases, it was 2 weeks, but most of them had it already in a week done. So that's not a long time to wait. Compared to traditionally, it's going to take at least 4 to 6 weeks to do it. And of course, during the information was given before the project and during. So every week, every bi-week, we gave information letters about how the project was going and if any changes had occurred. I think in this project, we changed the timetable a little bit, but it was really okay for all the residents since they knew it beforehand and were well informed on the subject. Oh, and as Gunther already gave a lookout of the benefits already, so it's really a cost-effective sewer rehabilitation. We don't have to replace structures, like we don't have to replace bathrooms which have already been renovated. We don't have to replace anything unnecessarily in these types of projects. So that's going to reduce a lot of environmental impact, as well as, of course, cost-wise. The execution time is always quick, from 1 to 2 weeks per apartment or a stack line. That's going to be quick for the residents. They don't have to find that long time lasting temporary apartments, for example. That's going to save money from them. And of course, like I said, no need to tear down already renovated bathroom structures. And if they had old structures and old original bathrooms which were in need of renovation, they can do it afterwards, anytime suitable. So lining doesn't affect other work at all. It can be just made how it well benefits the whole building, basically. And yeah, that was pretty quick walkthrough of the project. If you have questions, you can put it in the chat, and we'll get back to you or after the whole webinar. But from my side, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Yeah, so also a warm welcome from me. My name is Niels Jankowski. I'm the head of the BRAWO Academy. Today, together with Kimmo from Picote-Institut, the manager of the training center, and we will do the practical part today. Yeah, we prepared a lot of stuff, and I would say we start directly to show you everything in time. We start with the Picote Midi Miller, what you have to do to prepare pipes to open a connection, and then we will set up a connection color first. And we will do that now, and I give the word to Kimmo to explain a little bit more about the Midi Miller.
Thank you, Niels. So I'm Kimmo from Picote, and so first we start with cleaning of the pipes, do some reinstatement in the plastic pipe, connection color, lining, and so on. So yeah, let's start with this miller. So this is Super Midi. It has 20 meters of 12 millimeter shaft. Then we have Maxi Miller, Maxi Power Plus, and so on. So smallest machines, they have 8 millimeter shaft, and then it goes to Midi Cleaner, 10 millimeter shaft, 12 millimeter shaft. So we basically have everything up to 18 millimeter shaft machine to clean or do reinstatements and all kinds of work with this. So this is like high-speed cleaning. So the machine itself, it has a reel, and all the shaft is on the reel there. And these are all designed that when we clean the pipe, sometimes pipe is broken and the chain gets stuck in the pipe, so the machine stops, so they all have a safety clutch. So this machine, Super Midi, is really convenient inside apartments, and it's for DN70 to 150, depending work you're doing. So we have attached this. So all the work starts with the cleaning of the pipes. So now we have attached this cyclone chain, and this is just one tool to clean the pipes, and the cyclone chain is good for it's like a gentle way of cleaning descaling pipes. So it's good for cast iron and plastic, concrete. We have different types of chains, again, for plastic, cast iron, concrete pipes, or even like different materials. So you can have always the right tool for every situation or every pipe material. Even fragile, broken pipes, we have special tools to clean those, for example, a spider. So I quickly show how this chain is turning, and then I just do a quick cleaning demo on this pipe. So on the machine we can run it on both directions, like clockwise, counterclockwise, but always run the machine on clockwise direction because the shaft is designed to turn in one way. But in special cases, if the chain gets stuck or you need to go reverse for some reason, you can do that as well. We can adjust the speed from here. And yeah, so we have the speed adjustment here. So again, you can, if you need more gentle or more faster cleaning, you can adjust the speed from the machine. And here now I just show how it works. So I have a foot pedal to operate the machine. And when I press the foot pedal, the shaft turns. And again, I can adjust the speed. So less speed, you get less power to the tool, so you can clean more fragile pipes, for example. So now I'll just show. Thank you. So for example, this plastic pipe, I'll just do like a quick cleaning demo. And then again, it's really convenient when you can just push all the extra shaft back to the machine. And of course, when you change the tools, then you have to, it's good to press the emergency stop to not turn the tool when you change it. So now we are going to switch to a reinstatement tool. So how to change the tools? Basically, there is the set screws. I take these off. And then we have the shaft here. And then we add another tool and connect it with to the shaft.
Should I do hands-on? For sure.
Yeah.
So the first step is I push it to the closed connection. We have placed the camera inside the pipe that you see what happens inside. So that means I just go forward with the pyramid. That one is centralized inside the connection, and we will drill a first hole inside the liner. But you will see it on the camera. Thank you. Oh, turn on the vacuum cleaner. So the first step is done. We just have a hole inside the connection, and now we change the tool to the grinding panels, to open the rest of the pipe.
So again, when showing here, we have aligned this pipe, and now we drill connection open from here. So when we line this, all the connections are closed, and we reinstated this with the twister. And the twister tool itself, twister has this front brush, and the cutting head on the front is smaller than the brushes. So basically we have for every pipe size, we have two different twisters. We have for unlined pipes and for light pipes, because lined pipe is smaller inner dimension than the unlined pipe. So this one is for unlined pipe, and the brushes, because they are bigger than the cutting head, will keep the tool from damaging the pipe. For example, now we reinstated the plastic pipe and there is no damage to the plastic. So even when you do the reinstatement for the fragile pipes, it's really easy with this tool, and with not so much, you don't need much training to use this tool. Of course, you need to know what you're doing, but it's really simple. And now we proceed to because you still have liner material on the connection, so now we finish it with the smart cutter.
All right, so I connected to the machine, the smart cutter, and I will grind off the last part of the pipe. Emergency off. So yeah, that's quite far. So maybe we take a look with the camera inside, and you see the last pieces of the liner is gone. We have a nice opening for the connection color, so that means it's quite easy to handle that tool, but you have to watch with a camera inside your pipe that you don't destroy the old pipe. If you have cast iron, it's normally no problem. With a cheap PVC pipe like that one is, we have to do a little attention about it. All right, so we prepare the pipe. Normally we clean the pipe. Today we just show how it works to install a connection collar, and then we go over to this part, or you have some information about it?
Yeah, we can proceed to connection collar. So now, when this is lined, we have reinstated the connection. We need to do the lining for it. So now we are using connection collar, which we are pushing through the liner, but you can also push the connection collars from the lateral. But in most cases, it's easiest through the main. So we push it through the main to this connection, and then we have lined and sealed this connection till this far. And then next step is to shoot the liner or install the liner from the lateral on top of the connection collar, and then you have everything is lined, and you can do this in every pipe inside the apartments. So next thing is we go to the connection collar and install it to here.
All right, here we prepared everything. The first step will be the impregnation of the connection collar. So that looks like that one. So it's made out of BRAWO textile, and we're using a 2-component epoxy resin. It calls BRAWO SRR. It's a quite fast epoxy resin. We have a working time from ½ hour to set up the connection color into the connection. Yeah, we prepared everything. We have a foil. We start mixing the resin. I put it on a mark, put the connection color on it, another part of resin, pull the foil over it and impregnate it by hand. Get sure that every overflowed resin is off from the textile, and then I put it on the packer. So that's the process. What I do, I'm mixing the resin. We have a combi tin here with 1.5 kilogram of resin. On the top is the hardener. I will put some holes in it. The hardener will go into the A component. I will mix it for a few moments, and then I start to impregnate. We prepared the packer, so we have normally a T-packer, but I think Kimmo explained a little bit more about the packer. If I start to mixing the resin, I think this process is not so interesting. And yeah, he will explain a little bit more about the functions.
So here we have the connection collar packer. So it's like this silicone bag we are using to inflate the connection collar into the pipe. And what makes this special is that now we have the 90, so it doesn't matter, but we need to have this packer different for each pipe size. Let's say we have the main 100 and the lateral is 50 or 70 and 45. So then it would look like this. So now if it depends, are you pushing it like which direction, against the flow or the other direction? So with this system, it's easy to switch the direction. You just unscrew the steam valve from the other end and you attach to this end. So both ends of this tool are the same, with the same connector, and then this acts as a guide. So the rest or the other holes act as a guide through the bends. And yeah, but it matters when you have 45 or cross connections or things like that, so you can easily switch the direction when you need to push the tool, let's say from the basement to upstairs or from the roof to down. So it's easy to switch the direction without taking the connectors off from the ends. And then we have the push rods. So I'll just show here. These push rods I'll just take this off first. So we have one push rod, and we can use ambient curing or steam curing through this. It also works with the short liner packers, like bendy packers and 3D packers, and the Picote grabber. And the connection is hexagonal, so when these push rods are connected together, they lock to each other, and there's also this Steinco connector, which also can be locked. So when this is locked in place, it won't open by accident when the push rods are pushed inside the pipe. And also, when you have this one stiff push rod and you're turning the tool inside the pipe, you don't get this like a spring tension to the push rod. So every time you turn, you will turn the tool in the pipe or the bladder in the pipe. So this locks in place like so, and then I can lock the connector. And when I have multiple push rods, let's say 15 meter, 25 meter, on the last I add this T-handle here. And when I turn turn the T-handle, I get really good control what is happening on the other end, which is important when we set this to the right spot. And of course, we need to have the camera on the lateral to see what we are doing. And the black push rod, it goes easily through even DN70 bends, so I can just demonstrate that. I take that off. And I can even turn this push rod like this, and it won't still make a kink to the hose. So these are really durable push rods. And then we have the gray ones, which are, this is 22 millimeter, so the gray ones with the 24 millimeter are more stiff, and they are like more like DN 150 and 200 pipes. So this one is good for 70 to 150. But of course you can use it in the bigger pipes, but then it's more flexible in those bigger pipes, so it's better to use the stiffer push rods. So here we are wetting out the connection collar, so we need to add the resin in manual way.
Yeah, there are some different ways to do this. Yeah, we impregnate it on the table. Normally you can use also the packer and impregnate the textile on it. Yeah, depends on the way you want to do it. So I put the resin on it. I just get sure that I have the overflow resin away from the textile. And we prepared the packer, so we pushed the T-piece inside. And now Thomas, so we have two little helpers as well. Thomas here on the regulator, and also in the background, Christian. And first step will be that we suck vacuum on the packer to place it easier inside the connection collar. I hold it up, and Thomas will push it through the textile. And then we have to find the right position. Kannst du gerade mal loslassen? So I opened that one. Just a moment, Thomas. Too far. Ja, noch ein Stückchen zu dir. So, okay, that should be fine. A little pressure, please. Yeah, a little bit back with the camera, and then I have resin on the front. So it comes perfect. Okay, thank you. A little bit more pressure, please. Okay, that should be okay. And now we just push the bladder with the textile into. Oh, okay. Now we suck vacuum on it. And that's the first preparing of the bladder. Thanks. So on the front, we just use a rubber band to fix the textile a little bit. And also on the back. So the next step is I bring the connection collar to the inlet of the pipe. Merci. Connecting the push rod. And after a few moments, we suck now vacuum. There we have a fixed hold inside. Can bring it inside. The camera is placed in the connection to see what we do. We have a red mark on it to see what we do. Oh, that's too far. So Thomas, Thomas, kannst du gerade runtergehen und dann noch ein bisschen drehen für mich? You see the red mark, and now Thomas turns the wheel, and that looks nice. Christian, ja. Oh, hat sich gerade wieder ein bisschen gedreht. Achtung. Yeah, that's a little bit fast, but yeah, that happens. Normally you can control it a little bit slower. But yeah, now it's fixed inside. And now we have to wait the time. So we're using the BRAWO SRR, 2 components epoxy. And that means we have to wait around about 2 hours to cure that ambient. Normally, you can use also a small steamer to cure it faster. So that means you have a valve on the other side of the packer where you can put a steam flow into the packer to get sure that your curing time is not so long. All right, that was the first part of our demonstration. And now we switch over to a nearby part repair system, the short liner. And maybe Kimo can say a little bit more about the stuff, and I will do hands-on prepare some small stuffs. And yeah, we'll be back in a few moments.
All right, so here's the bendy packer, and this is for doing short patch repairs to bends. And then we have the 3D packer. It's the same thing, but it's for straight pipe repair. So the bendy, the idea is that it inflates from the middle first, and it kind of iron out the wrinkles. So when you are fixing 90-degree bends with this, you aim the middle part to the middle of the bend, and when you inflate, it will start from here and inflate to the both ends and creates really good result when fixing the bends. And we can have different sizes, so it starts from DN50, 70, then we have the green one, it's 70 to 100. The blue one, so they're all color coded. The blue is 100 to 150, and the red one is 150 to 200, and so on. The bendy packer uses the same push rods as the connection collar, so we have the same connector, but these can be supplied with the different connectors as well. And also here we have a hole, and that's called front wheel drive. So when we push this in the pipe, it might be sometimes pushing it through the multiple bends, it's a little bit difficult. So we can push the 7.5 millimeter glass fiber push rod through this hole. It goes all the way to the front. So you get this pushing force to the front. And also on this end, we can either use this like a pull loop, or we can unscrew this and use a navigation guide instead. So you can have 3 ways to install this. If it's really difficult, you can have somebody pulling this while you push it with the push rods, and you can have the glass fiber rod inside so you create the pushing force to the end. So it's really easy to install. And this can also be repaired. On this sticker, we have the information. For example, the pressure, so this is 2.5 bar, and then the instructions are also printed here with the QR code. So it's really easy to see. This is really easy to use kind of tool. We have wrapped this with this plastic kitchen wrap. So every time we do the installation, you add the kitchen wrap to it, and after installation you just tear this away and put a new one in. So you don't need to ever clean this, and it will stay nice and clean when you do that. So next, we have marked our patch repair, so the area here, so it's around 80 centimeters, and we need to add the patch and mix the resin, add the resin to the patch, and then we push it to this pipe, and we have this broken bend here. So we are going to fix this. So again, next we are making the resin as we did with the connection collar, and then we push the tool inside here.
All right, so yeah, it's nearby the same. We're using BRAWOLINER 3D 100-150 textile. We just turn it around to have the textile out of it. The foil is inside. So we have to impregnate it the same wise like we do the connection collar. First, we put a little resin on the foil. In this case, we put a fast mark on it that we see where we have to fill up the resin. So the next thing is, again, I open the tin. Oh, thanks. Just a moment that the hardener can go inside. Thomas, waar man de rühren. So we cool down the resin to 15 degrees. That's normally the best working temperature. We have a climatic fridge that holds the temperature of around about 15 degrees. It's quite important if you work with epoxy resins that your resin has the right temperature. Is it hotter? You have less working time. So in this case, it's a quite fast resin. We have to get sure that we have the right working temperature. Oops. So, then again, we fill up the mark with the resin. So normally the 1.5 kilogram is enough to use it for all sizes of connection collars that we have. But if you have longer short liners as well, you can use an 10 kilogram tin and mix it how many you need for it. Also in this process, we have some slings in the textile. And I looked at if I bring the textile inside, that all the slings look this way, so it's quite easier to push it inside. So, we are finished with the impregnation. We take the packer and push it inside. Messy. And then we fix it not with rubbers because we have no connection inside that holds the textile. We're using metal wires in this case because we have a pressure of around about 2.5 bars to expand the packer, so that's enough to losing the connection of the metal wire. So one in the front, one in the middle, and one in the back. It's important that you don't pull them too strong, so we say 1.5 turn or half turn, and then normally it's fixed on the packer that you don't lose it if you push it inside. And we just cut these metal wires on the end. Don't worry about it, so that's not a strong metal wire. It's really soft. And with the textile you don't hurt the packer anyway. So first thing is I push it inside the pipe, and then we will connecting the push rod on the back. All right. Set on 0. Yeah, we have a pressure regulator on the top. We can set up 2.5 bar. And now, Thomas, please push it to the mark. I have no gloves anymore, so I will pressure up the system. And here you see the textile is coming, and now we reach the mark. So, yep, thank you. So we measure out the middle of the damaged and make a mark on the push rod to get sure that our textile is there where we want it. The next step is we blow it up, but cameraman, please go a step back. Attention. If something happens, I'm not sure. All right. Ein anderer Regulator, der zischt ein bisschen ab. Scheinbar. Just have to change the regulator. Something happens. Just a moment. Wahrscheinlich nicht. Andersherum. Nee. Die können wir jetzt nicht abmachen. Just a small moment. Ah, yeah.
Another tool we have for this is the new Picote pressure guard, and it connects to the wall outlet, and then we have this sensor which is plugged between the packer or liner or connection collar or even a compressor, so it depends what you want to monitor. We have this pressure guard, and it's for if you lose the pressure or if you lose the power supply, it will send you alarm to your mobile phone. You can add multiple phones, and it also will make a data log you can download after the job. But we will show how this works when we get this new pressure regulator in between. So it's always good to monitor your liner when you do the installation, and if the biggest risk is that when you go out from the job site, in Finland we do multiple liners, we leave home and the next day we will continue. So if the compressor fails or the fuse blows or something happens, you get the alarm and you can go and fix the situation before the liner collapses, and it will save a lot of money. Yeah, it has to go between the hose and yeah.
All right. And then we just das ist auch kaputt. Pass auf, dass es nicht zu hoch geht. Warte, drehst du mal gerade runter. Warte. Oder irgendwo an der Stelle bloß das doch ab. Hast du auf Minus? Hast du auf Minus? Oh. Yeah. So now we have everything. That's the thing, live demonstration. So yeah, now we see the liner is pressed out of the damage. The overflow resin gets sure that everything is repaired in this area. And yeah, normally you go round about 20 centimeters in the front of the damage and on the back of the damage. Also, you can use the mini miller as well to prepare the pipe. It's better to sandpaper it before to get better hold in this area. So let's see if some questions are there. Up.
Connected, so I just press the button and it will register the current pressure, so around 2.5 bar now, and then it takes a little bit of time to get the connection and everything, but I can show how it works with the app. So now when I go to Telegram and I press status, so let's see if I get the I get the pressure reading. So we have 2.223 bar, and the reference pressure is the same. So basically, if the pressure now goes down or it goes too high, you get the alarm to your mobile phone. So this is how it works. So we have Telegram is connected to this box.
All right. So the next step will be the cannon, I think.
Yeah.
So, but you need also air for this case, huh?
Yeah, I can show the
there is
roller first and then the cannon.
Okay.
Yeah.
However you want.
So here we have a Picote MIDI roller and the wet out station. And there are two separate units. You can use the roller without the table on the floor. It's just basically, I'll just show how it's connected to the table. So it's for wetting out your liner. And if you use this without the table, it has these rubber feet on the bottom, and you can either use your own table or then you just use it on the floor. But when you have this wet out station, then it will be a real game changer. So this roller comes top here, and then I just tighten it against the table. And the roller has a built-in battery, and the working time, continuous use, is around 10 hours. So now the roller will also turn this wet out station conveyor belt. So the roller is using powering the wet out station. So I'll show how that works. We have this liner holder, and the roller comes with one DN100, but you can have also the other sizes. And the best part of the roller is that you can open this top part. So when you have the resin, extra resin on either or side, you can easily take the liner to the other side or here without opening the roller cap. So this is the best part of the MIDI roller. And we have the adjustment here. So adjusting the cap, how thick of a liner you need, it goes from 4 millimeters up to 14 millimeters. And all the controls are on this side. We have the speed, the direction, and then the emergency switch. And you can see the battery level from here. And the foot pedal comes to this connector here. So again, it uses the foot pedal. And now I can show how this works. I close this one. I set my cap. Let's put like 7 millimeters. We are just doing dry demo this time. So, for example, now if I would add the resin here with this liner holder, it's really easy. I can lean the resin canister against this. I get the resin in, and then I just need to tighten this a little bit more. And yeah, when I work with the liner, I can adjust the speed I want to impregnate the liner with the resin. And again, it has the, you can switch the direction. And really easy access to the liner when you can open this. And the legs, they fold up to the table. So then this unit fits in the back of a normal car. If you are using like a station wagon, you can put this inside there. And these wheels are for that. So on this end we have a handle. So when the legs are folded, you can just use this handle to move this around. And so when you have the table and the roller, you can also do connection collars top of the table. So you have a workbench. This is really good for that as well. So you get like complete lining unit even inside the apartment really easily. So let's move to Picote Cannon. So here we have a Picote original cannon. It will fit 6.5 meters around DN100. You can also use, if you use 3D liner, then you can line DN150 pipes. And yeah, this is for short liners, and it has cam lock on this end. So basically, you put the liner in here, and then you can invert it out. And you can also use the rope, but because this is for short liners, usually you just leave the rope here, but you can also have the option, if you want, you can fiddle the rope through from this end. It has a safety feature, so we have an overpressure valve here, and then the design is that if you don't use the regulator and let's say you pressurize this container, the whole back end will open because it has this spring, so it's designed that it will flex and leave the air from between the tank and this end cap. And it's really durable, so this won't break easily, even it's transparent. So I will just quickly demonstrate how this inversion is done with the dry demo. So I have pressure regulator on this end. And when I add the pressure, then the liner starts to come out if you film this. And the best part is because the cannon is transparent, and if you are doing, let's say, DN50 linings, kitchens, and so on, sometimes the liner is, it's difficult to get moving, but now you can see how it's going slowly outside, so it's, you can see what you're doing with this cannon. And now when the liner is inverted, then we have this liner compressor. So this is a tool to strangle the liner, so you can keep the air inside the liner while you take this cannon out for your next installation. So how this works, it's you need a drill. Then we have this cable. It comes around the liner. And then I just tighten it up. And now I can remove the pressure from the other end. Yep, thanks. I can take the nozzle out off from the cannon. And then I have a curing cap here. And then I add the pressure back to the curing cap. And now the liner compressor is released. So the idea is that you never de-inflate your liner. Let's say when you're shooting vertical liners from the basement, top of the building, you can replace your drum with the liner compressor really easily and do the next liner and so on. So it's really efficient. All right, that's much about it. So let's move forward.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we will stay a little bit longer inside buildings. We prepared something, yeah, what you see now, it's classic epoxy resins, so 2 components reaction resins. We're using a quite fast one. in both sections, like the connection collar or the short liners, ambient cured, so we have more curing methods. So the classic one is ambient. Also, if you install liners inside buildings, you can use steam as well to cure this reaction resin a little bit faster. So if you have not 8 hours time or 2 hours time or 24 hours time, you can speed up the curing process with steam. As well, we have under the ground, we're using normally warm water to cure the reaction resins. If you have longer distances, it's quite better to shoot it with water, so it's safer. Also, if you have bigger dimensions, water is quite perfect for this job, for underground line pipes. But we have a fourth one, so that's light. And the next presentation is the BRAWO Pico. One question, just a moment. We will see if it's about light or how many meters can the cannon do with DN50? You have how many meters DN50 we can shoot with the big cannon?
With the cannon?
Yes. Too much, huh?
With this, I would say over
20?
10 meters, 12 meters with the cannon, like easily DN50.
Okay. So yeah, 10, 15 meters, I think, should be no problem to shoot with the cannon. Okay, where we was? We prepared a liner. So one different thing is between light and two components resin, we have a lot of time. So it's completely stress-free. We prepared the DN50 liner for you today, just like outlet of a was heißt denn jetzt? Handwaschbecken. Think. Okay, thank you. Hand think. So it's a small, complicated pipe, so DN50, 2-inch. We start with a 90-degree bend, downstream 50 centimeters. We have another two 45-degree bends, half meter, 45-degree bend, and another half meter. So that's the pipe that we do today. That's normally something like we found it really often inside buildings. We're using the BRAWO Pico. So this system is developed for DN50 up to DN100. For the in-house section, we have 25 meters of hose package inside or on the hospital. And also we impregnate the liner in the morning and prepared everything for you that you can see how it works. So the liner is inside. Thomas will be put pressure on the system. So the DN50 needs a little bit more pressure because it's quite small, and we need around about 0.6 up to 0.7 bar. That's not normally for the BRAWO liner. Normally we invert it with 0.2 bars or 0.3. Depends on the size. So the DN50 is quite small. And the special thing on this system is that we have a glass on the side pass, and Thomas will install the liner up to this point. So when the nut is coming through the outlet of the nozzle, we will stop that thing, deflate the system. With the DN50 we can do that because the DN50 has not a lot of weight. Disconnecting the nozzle, and we have just a rope on it on the end to control where we have to stop. And now there's one special thing in this case. We have the LED head that cures the liner, and in the front we have a small pneumatic cylinder. And on the end of the liner we have a small connection point to, yes? Okay. Ja. Kan je hem open doen? a small connection point. So that means we attached the end of the liner to the LED head. And that helps a lot to bring the liner or the LED head into the pipe. So remember, we have a 90-degree bend on the first point. So that's normally the hardest situation that we can get. After the connection, we will blow up the system again to 0.6, 0.7 bar. That's the pressure that we need. And after that, we control the speed of the inversion with the hose package. So you see, we are around about 50 centimeters inside, so that means we're past the 90-degree bend, and it's quite easy to push it inside. And also to reach it longer distances. So that's on. Okay, wir sind da. So the liner is inside, I saw it here. Normally, if you don't reach the end with a camera, you can also make a mark on the end of the hose package to get sure that you have the right distance inside. Or you place a camera inside the main to see where your liner is ending, and after the installation you can cut off the end. It's also you can also install the liner with an open end. That means you shoot a cal tube inside. In this case, the DN50, you need an end cap. So that means you glue a part of a cal tube on the end of the liner, and after installation you pull it out. After installing the liner, Thomas will be setting up the control box. So it's quite easy. You just start on the left side and choose your liner. It's a BRAWOLINER DN50, and also the BRAWOLINERs normally expand to a bigger dimension. That means you have to choose the right dimension. In this case, DN50. After that, you have a ½ meter per minute back pulling speed, and if you activate the light, what we're doing here now, you can start the back pulling unit. We have around about 1 meter, 2 meter, 2 meter 50 of liner in this case. So that means we need around about 5 minutes to cure the whole pipe. That's quite fast. We put a small piece of cal tube on the end. To save the guys inside the hole. It's a DN50, but doesn't matter. You have a little reaction smoke, and also that everyone doesn't look into the light. We have normally specially sunglasses for this case, but yeah, there we have no direct eye contact. Also in this case, what we can do is documentation of the whole installation. We have a smart system. That means the head has a communication to the control unit. You see how long is the LED burned, and after 500 hours, that's around about 15 kilometers of liner, you have to change the LEDs to get sure that you have enough light to cure the liner as well. We have 2 QR codes, or you can connect every Wi-Fi advice with the control unit. The easiest way is to use your phone to scan the 2 codes. The first one is to connecting with the Wi-Fi, and the second one streams to your browser the live data, where you can set up also all information round about the installation. That means customer name, size of the pipe, length of the liner, batch number of the liner, batch number of the resin, And after you accept that, you get a 3-page PDF. They can send in the office that they have all information. Also you see in graph on the end, how many pressure, what was the back pulling speed, how many electricity was using by the installation. All information that we need. Yeah, in a few minutes we are finished with this. I will see if I can cut off the pipe that you can see, have a watch inside how the bands are looking. I think in this case to spend some time, we can start to impregnate the liner. So the next installation is more for the underground section. We install a liner, BRAWOLINER 3D, 100 up to 150. So that's specially, yeah, from the house to the main pipe. The most situation starts in Germany, I think in a lot of other countries as well, with the 100 and goes up to 125 or 150, so 4-inch up to 6-inch. All right, we just prepare a liner, so it's important to check if everything is right in the pipe, that you have cleaned it. Normally high pressure cleaning. If you have some rocks or whatever inside, that should be going out. And if you measured everything, if you have the right dimension of the pipe, changes as well, you can cut off the liner. So we do that as well in this case. We have a little distance from the inversion nozzle to the pipe length. In this case, we do a closed end. That means we have add a little bit more liner to close the liner. It's the easiest way to install a BRAWO liner, and you have also the best results. Depends if you reach the end or if you have the right cutting tool to cut off the end of the liner. If not, also as well, we can shoot an open end with a cal tube. That means you have to use a translucent cal tube in this case, but your back pulling speed will reduce a little bit, or you're using the end cap as well as another option. Right, let's see if we have another question. And can the camera stay on the pipe rather than the speaker? Yeah, we will do that. Okay, Thomas, I think you can start with the impregnation. If you want, I will turn off the just the liner is reaching, or the light is reached the end. That means the curing process is finished. Normally you can leave the LED head a little bit longer inside. Also you hold the pressure for around about 10 minutes to cool down the whole system. In this case we stop it now to have not so much noise in here. And also what we do now is prepare the last installation that you see that step as well. Christian will fill in the resin. In this case, yeah, the BRAWOLINER 3D. We need around about 1.5 kilograms resin per meter. I think Christian will fill in, we have around about, I think, 6 meters of liner, so that means 9 kilograms of resin, but he will fill in maybe 10, 11, and that's the good thing on the light resin. If you have too much inside, you see it because we have a roller distance all over. Every resin that's too much inside we bring back in the tin, and you can use it for the next installation. Das ist ein bisschen. So we have a base impregnation table here. Normally that's for every size. If you have a trailer or truck, normally it's based inside where you can impregnate liner, or you're using for the in-house section a mobile impregnation table. These two kinds of impregnation table we have. Also, one thing is that's the UV box. So a light curing resin that's based on epoxy to have a higher quality. It's fixed to the pipe, that we have no water coming back through the pipe. And also we have paint inside. That helps a lot to impregnate the liner. We will see if we have some spaces without resin. Normally the resins are translucent, so it's harder to see. And it's completely stress-free because we have a lot of time to impregnate that one. On the end, we set up a vacuum machine that sucks all the air out of the liner. We have a small hose connected to the end to get sure that we have only the textile, so it's for higher quality on the end. All right, so Christian will just swip the resin back and forward to get sure that we have the right wad thickness, in this case 12 millimeters, to get sure that we reach in the DN150 our 3 millimeters. So that's one point in Germany that we have the diabetes certification, where all the quality aspects are inside what we have to do for the right installation. All right, I think I explained a little bit more about the drum because we have a little different here with the next installation. So we're using the BRAWOLINER, BRAWO Magnavity SX. We have a length hose package of 60 meters. That means we can do pipes 50 up to 55 meters in one row. Normally that's the distance where you have another manhole to reach that easy. This machine is set up from the 100 to the 300. We have a special thing inside, so the biggest difference to the small machine is okay. We have a head that we can just change by ourselves for screws. So it's a plug-and-play system. You can connect the bigger head. That's the small one, the nano. That one we use from the 100 up to 200. You can change it by yourself, and the other thing is we have a camera in the back. We can looking forward to the head, what we do, and we can look backwards during the curing process to see if something happens, like if we have a hard bend or whatever. You can control it. You see if you have connections there. We have a turtle function inside that we can slow down the speed there to get sure that we have, if we have more resin inside the connection, that we created everything, and you can open the connection after the installation easier. The special thing, Magnavity, stands also for the first thing is mag, for the magnet that we have in the front. That's an electromagnet. It's one thing to fix the LED head to the end of the liner. You see it here. We have a metal blade on the end of the rope, and we can connect it to the head with one step. We just activate the magnet, and then we have around about 50 kilograms strongness. That's enough to pull in the hose, the whole hose package, and that makes the installation quite easier because you don't have to push it inside. You just bring it to the back with the liner. So it's like installation with a water hose, for example. If we reach the end, we cancel the magnet, and then it's quite easy to deblock it because it has no strongness anymore, and you can lose the connection. So that's the thing. I think the colleagues are prepared liner, and we are finished soon. What's one special thing is, because if you have infiltrations or you want to do a vertical pipe, we have a side pass on the drum, inside a free spinning plate, and also on this nut there is a, that's just translated in vortex, or what's the right name, to turn the liner on the drum, and after that we can install the liner and we can pull the LED head in one step into the liner. So that means we don't have to deflate the system because we do it in one step. And that means if you have infiltrations or vertical pipe, you don't have to deflate the system to get sure that everything is right after the installation. It's a little bit complicated. I would say it's also hard to explain how it works directly. But yeah, in this case, we have also some trainings to explain it right. All right, so the guys put out the last piece of resin back in the tin, and then I think we are ready to shoot the last liner. So we will see if some questions. Not yet. So I think we're near by the end. So if you have some questions, let us know. Also, the curing process will start. And yeah, what we can do is in this case to set up the installation parts. Oh no, for sure, we do first that part. So the liner is finished. We have just a backhold rope inside the drum. So that means also with this rope we control the speed during the installation. That's connecting to the end. It's a white rope, a flat rope. It's also translucent so that we have no spaces anywhere inside the liner that's not cured. In this case, this rope stays inside the pipe. We're using cable ties to close the liner. That's they have a metal tongue inside that they are a little bit stronger than normal plastic ones, but we're using them since 20 years, so we never lose a enclosed end. And also then we save the end of the sharp parts with tape. And after that, we have the free spinning blade inside. So the metal plate is coming to this part, to the right place. The magnet. Okay. You're connecting the magnet to the metal plate, and after that you can turn on the liner and start the installation. Also during the installation, we have make the system a little bit safer for all the customers. That means we control the inside pressure. If you fall down on the 1 point or 0.1 bar, the machine will stops the light and the back pulling. You get sure that the liner is not collapsing on light to secure. This situation means if your compressor is running out of gas or whatever, happens sometimes on the job site. Also, we control the energy of the LEDs. If they're going down, maybe they are broken, whatever can happen. The machine stops. You can change the head by yourself, or you're turning down the back pulling speed. Depends on the situation. Also, we control the heat of the LEDs. At 70 degrees, it stops. In most of cases, your compressor is not big enough. We need around about 1,300 liters per minute to get sure that the LEDs cools down right. Means a Kisa M13, it's normally enough. And if the LEDs are going too high with the temperature, the machine stops also back pulling and the light. You can cool down the system and then you start again at this point where you stopped. To secure also the expanding of the liner, because it's a 100, 150, it goes up to 150. So we put a cal tube on it, DN100, to get sure that in the front area it's not too expanding too much. And also to save the people from the reaction. Also, it's quite cleaner after the installation. And you see, it's quite relaxed job since now. We can turn the drum around. So also this drum, it's called the drum 4.0. You can use it for all 4 curing methods, like ambient cure, the classic one, cold, for steam, and also for hot water, and as well as for the light. We're just connecting the air. There are a lot of installations, so we have to change the outlet a little bit. Is that okay? And after that, it's more easier. Aber das Ding cash halt einfach. So just a moment, the noise will begin soon. So yeah, the silencer was placed on the other drum. So they start with the inversion. Now the liner is inside, and Christian will control when the end starts to going inside the pipe. Thomas will be pushing the rod, the hose package into the, not pushed, he feeds a little bit the hose package into the sluice to get sure that it's have no problems. So now the free spinning blade inside the drum will we find the right position, and after that you see it on the camera, we go into the liner. So now you see also as well how the liner is pushing pulling the LED head into the pipe. So that's the first fold. So that's not the liner. So that's where the cal tube goes into the pipe. So that's the first part. It's not a part of the pipe. It's just outside, but also no problem. And now you see the DN100, the first part. The first band should be, or we'll, oh no, that's the dimension change. There's the 90-degree bend, DN150. And you see, you go inside the bend with the LED head, stress-free for the liner and also for the unit. And now we should reach the end. And then after that, we just fix the back pulling unit. search for the right combination of liner dimension. Start the light. So we start in the 150. That doesn't work because we don't have to delete the arrow. So yeah, you see the pressure was on arrow. In this case, with the new software, we have to delete the arrow, that you know what was wrong. So we said, now we have the right pressure. We can turn on the light. We start the back pulling, and hopefully, there we just disconnecting the magnet to get sure that we pull back as well the light. And then we start the back pulling. We have around about 5 meters. We pull back as well with 0.5 meters per minute in this case. If we see that we reach the smaller dimension, the DM100, we can switch over to the backwards camera. And then we see if we reach the DM100, we can set up that during the curing process. And then we pull back with 0.6 meters per minute, a little bit faster. Okay. I just watch if we have other questions. Not at the moment. Yeah, feel free to ask. The process will be done taking around about 10 minutes. Then we cool down the system for maybe 2 minutes, and then we are done with the practical part. Sollen wir umswitchen auf die 2 Folien? Nee, zu den Folien. Lassen wir. Alles gut. Yeah, you see a lot of information at the moment. That was a quick overview about a lot of things that we can do. We see a lot of inside buildings, a small part of the underground line pipes, and there are so much information that we can give to the people. In this case, we do special trainings. So maybe let's switch over. Here. So we are now here in the practical area of our training center, the BRAWO Academy. We are doing some support or trainings, especially on the machines, with the liner types, with the resin types, and that's as well what we do in the academy. Also job site support, after-sale support. If you have any questions, we are on the phone or via mail for you. If you have any question, projects or whatever. And also we do webinars, seminars, live here for inside buildings. And I think that's the most of the part of the BRAWO Academy as well. Kimo, you have your own training center.
Yeah, so...
Oh, maybe they have to switch the...
Yeah, so... So also we have a training center with Picote in Finland, Porvoo, Sandhurst, UK, and Phoenix in the States. So we do lining trainings, descaling trainings, and also you can learn about the CIPP services. As Jonas presented, we can also train you for that in Finland. So if you want to see job site, that's possible. So. And also don't forget to visit Picote-Institut. So we have all the videos, how to use our tools, how to descale, set the chain, do all kind of sort of like stuff. So that's completely free. You register and it costs you nothing. So there's lots of videos and manuals how to do all kind of stuff in Picote-Institut. All right, thank you.
So yeah, I think we're nearby the end of the practical part. The light is coming back. I think we reached the 100. So the noise also, you can hear that it's going a little bit faster. So I will just see if you have some other information, other questions, not yet. So yeah, in this time, maybe we do a short look at the 90-degree bend, what we do in the morning. I hope you see it. A little bit too much. But yeah. Here by no folds, there is a little piece of foil, but that's normally not the problem. Yeah, that's the results of the installation of a D90. So I think it's D50, 90 degrees. I think it's looks quite nice. So I think that was from our side, huh?
Yeah, I guess that was all about it.
So yeah, thank you for watching. If you have questions after the whole process, or especially on one process, yeah, let us know. Contact Picote, contact BRAWO Systems. Normally you find us www.brawosystems.com, and I think as well Picote.
Yeah, PicoteGroup.com, and also Picote-Institut. You can find it.
As well, there at the Picote-Institut there are a lot of nice videos where you can watch if you're interested, or to have a better knowledge about the product. So it's quite nice, test it out. I love it. So yeah, thank you, and see you soon maybe.
All right, thank you for attending.
Bye.